Oh boy, these stories are they're gonna turn some heads. All right, so we gotta start from the beginning. I get a call from a family, let's call them the O'Neills. Husband, wife, 2 kids. They were relocating to Charleston for work, and they were absolutely excited about their new adventure. They'd already found a home on Zillow, a beautiful 4-bedroom in a popular neighborhood. And here's the kicker. They negotiated directly with the seller's agent. Ugh.
Seriously?
Okay. So they negotiated with the seller's agent. No buyer's agent. And guess what? No extra fees, right? Sounds smart, right? Wrong. You blew it! Wrong, so wrong. Oh my God. Because when I looked at their contract, my stomach actually dropped. So the seller's agent, who, by the way, is legally representing the seller, offered to help, keyword in that sentence, write up the deal for them. And guess what they left out? A due diligence period. Oh,
Stay calm, okay? Let's not lose our heads.
So if you're not familiar with a due diligence period, this period gives buyers time to have the home inspected, check for termites, and then negotiate any repairs or even back out if something isn't right. But since they didn't have one, guess what? They were stuck. This house was being sold as is. No negotiating repairs, no walking away without losing their entire deposit. And this is just the beginning of the nightmare. We haven't even hit the best part. All right, if you're enjoying the story, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe, comment below. You know what to do. It helps the algorithm. We're gonna keep going though. Now, since they got a home inspection because, of course, they wanted to be responsible, they were like, we don't wanna make all bad decisions. No. But when the report came back, guys, it was bad. I mean, we're talking roof damage that needed almost a full replacement, close to $12,000 estimate. An HVAC system from the Stone Age, estimated replacement, $8,500. And then moisture damage in the crawl space. Impossible mold. Yeah, so that's gonna be another 5 to 10K. Oh, and get this. They found previous active termite issues in some of the wood under the crawl space. So yeah, great, fantastic. The O'Neills almost lost it. They were just like, what do we do? So they called the seller's agent thinking they could negotiate repairs. And the agent, he laughed. Oh, did I mention that this was an as-is sale? Yeah, you already signed, they were stuck, no negotiations, no repairs, no backing out. And at this point, I knew they were in trouble, but I wasn't ready to give up just yet. So I started going through their paperwork, contracts, disclosures, property records, and that's when I found it. A drainage easement running straight through their backyard. Now, if you're wondering why that seems like a big deal over everything else, it meant they were not getting their dream oasis of a backyard. No pool, no patio, no fence in certain areas. Ugh. And the worst part, the seller's agent never disclosed this. This was our out, baby. If the seller failed to disclose critical property restrictions, we might have a legal way to back out. Things like property plats with drainage easements do need to be disclosed, especially if the seller knows about them. All right, guys, don't go anywhere. I have another story just like this, so stay tuned. Let's get back to this one. So I called the listing agent immediately, and let's just say the conversation was a bit hostile. Some would say tense. I pointed out that the non-disclosure issue made it very clear we were ready to push back legally.
I will take you into a dark alley and fight you!
In the result, well, the sellers agreed to let them walk away, but at a cost. The O'Neills still had to forfeit part of their deposit. But instead of losing all of their earnest money, I was able to get back half of it. So was it a perfect situation? No, but it saved them thousands compared to having to stay in a money pit. And that just wouldn't have been good for their family or their lifestyle moving forward. Now, they were relieved, but they were exhausted. This just kind of took the wind out of their sails. And I totally get it. It's an emotional train wreck. It's an emotional train ride. And you have to be prepared for it. Luckily, I'm on the side of the transaction where I know how to turn emotions on and off and negotiate, be a hard negotiator, be tough and fight for my client's corner for their benefit. So after that disaster, the O'Neills weren't taking any chances anymore. They called me and we had this long conversation, and they wanted to do things the right way this time. So we started over this time with me on their side. We toured probably about a dozen homes because they are really looking for something very specific. So we made sure every deal had a due diligence period, full disclosures up front, no hidden surprises. And after a month, guys, we found it. Oh my God. Big lot, right? Fully updated home, not new construction, but they tore this bad boy down to the studs and redid and put every upgrade you could possibly imagine in this house. It's unbelievable. You can turn on the shower from your phone. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. It is amazing. So, and here's the best part. It already has a pool. So they don't have to go through the time and the frustration of putting a pool in. My clients get to enjoy their brand new home in a nice new pool. So, and guess what, guys? This time, no surprises, no regrets, just the perfect home. The O'Neills learned the hard way, but you don't have to. So let's talk about the lesson here. A buyer's agent doesn't cost you money, shouldn't cost you money. A buyer's agent protects your money, me, that's what I do. If you're thinking about buying a home in Charleston, don't go at it alone. Call me first, 843-226-5535.
We're family now and I got your back forever. You hear me?
Let's make sure your dream doesn't turn into a nightmare. And then I've got to come and save you like these folks. But this video, if you learned something new, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, tap that notification bell, and be sure to hit the like button. It really helps me out. And if you guys have questions or you like these stories, which I can do more of, then go ahead and leave me a comment below. All right, let's move on to our next story. This one I'm calling the Empty Nester's Wild Ride, how I saved their dream home. Ooh. So finding the perfect home in Charleston can feel like an adventure. And for some buyers, it's an easy, smooth process. For others, it's a damn near roller coaster ride of bad deals, zoning nightmares, and near heartbreak. You see that one home and you're like, I love it. And then you find out it's like, that's not the best spot, unfortunately. And then your heart's broken, and I get it. It's like when a cowboy's horse runs away. I don't know. Today, I'm sharing the story of Mike and Susan. I met Mike and Susan about a year ago, and we just closed on their home not too long ago. They are an empty nester couple, looking for a little peace, land, and the ultimate Lowcountry lifestyle. And they thought their search would be simple. Instead, no. They ran into hidden property issues, zoning disasters, and even lost out on their dream home. Oh, it was so disappointing. But in the end, I saved the day. And they landed the perfect property. But buckle up, because this one's a ride. Oh boy.
Man, that's crazy.
All right, let's meet Mike and Susan. They are a couple in their 50s, kids grown and hell out of the house, ready for that slower pace of life the two of them can enjoy together. And they wanted something simple, a big piece of land, a beautiful Southern style home, which, I mean, can you blame them? And zero HOA nonsense. Mike has toys, he's got an RV, he's got 3 or 4 classic cars, he's got a boat. I mean, the dude is like the ultimate man. You know what I mean? He's got all of it. And that's what he really wanted. He wanted somewhere where he could put all of his toys. They weren't looking for a McMansion or a gated community. They wanted space to garden, relax, and even have some chickens, right? Because, I mean, the cost of eggs now is absolutely ridiculous. So, I don't blame them for wanting chickens. That's all I'm saying. Sounds easy, right? Well, not exactly. let's dive into that one. So the first house we found looked amazing. It had the wraparound porch. It had the trees. It even had a small pond in the back. It wasn't a big pond, but it was a pond nonetheless. Mike and Susan fell in love immediately, but something felt off. So I did some digging, and guess what? That pond wasn't a pond. It was just a protected wetland. You know what that means? Well, no filling it in, no building near it, and that dream of a guest house they wanted, forget about it. If they wanted it right where they said they wanted it, that was not happening. And the sellers never disclosed this. And if Mike and Susan had bought the property without checking, they would have spent thousands in probably legal fees and zoning fights just to find out that they're not going to be able to do anything about it. See, you have to understand down here, there's protected wetlands and protected trees, a lot of the oak trees. You just can't cut an oak tree down in your yard if you feel like doing so. They are going to come through and slap the cuffs on you. Yeah, they take trees really serious here. Again, not making jokes. I'm just saying that's how it is. That's the reality. And so, you know, if you're someone where you have this vision and you see this property and you see this home and you're like, oh, okay, what if we built this here, but we can't build it here because we can't take any of these trees down because this is protected. So that's what they ran into. And ultimately, that would have cost them thousands of dollars to fight it and argue it for what, you know? So Mike was pretty upset. I mean, this had checked almost every box for them. So he was not happy. And I could tell Susan wasn't happy either. She really loved that kitchen. It was nice. But in the words of a famous poet, on to the next one.
What you talking about, Will?
Then we found it, a classic farmhouse on 2 acres of land. It had mature trees, a huge porch, and a space for everything Mike wanted. Mike and Susan were ready to sign that day, but something felt off on some of the paperwork. So I pulled public records, and that's when we found it. A small little hidden zoning issue. And if you're not familiar with it, there are things called easements or right-of-ways. So for instance, that land in that home sat on a piece of property that if that property was sold, they would have to get an agreement to still allow their driveway to have access to the home. And so again, it was something that was disclosed, but it was like disclosed as, you know, an agreed easement with the home in the front, you know, allows access to property. It was really poorly written up. And I just was like, you know, we got to look into this, because what happens if that person sells their home and then the new person's like, hey, I'm not cool with that. I'm not letting you access it via my property. You know, too bad, tough. We could be into a lot of problems. And the lot was technically 2 acres, but only 1.5 of the acres belonged to the home. The other half was actually that county-owned land, meaning no fences, no buildings, no privacy. So Mike and Susan were about to pay for land they couldn't even use legally. And so there was this kind of like, we can't win, you know? And so I get it, I got their frustration, but we have to make sure that you're not buying something that's somebody else's problem that they're just trying to pass on to somebody else. And that's where Mike and Susan were very appreciative that I was doing all this extra checking. So the deal was dead on that one. Back to square one. At this point, Mike and Susan were ready to give up. And then I found the perfect home. It popped up, right? 3 acres, stunning renovated Lowcountry home. So check that box. No zoning issues, no HOA. And check this out, it even already had a 3-bay garage. Oh, yeah. It was everything they wanted, but there was a problem. It was already under contract. I know. I felt awful. We scheduled the showing and we had it there, and the agent called me. He's like, listen, man, I got a contract coming in. I was like, yeah, everybody says that. He's like, no, really, they've looked at it 3 times. Their agent is writing the offer today. And I was like, all right. And I said, are they going to accept? He goes, we've already verbally accepted. He's like, the contract at this point is a formality. And I was like, I understand. I said, listen, do me a favor. If anything happens, save my number and just give me a call first. My clients really love this house. He's like, no problem. So that night, I told them, guys, don't lose hope. These deals fall through a lot. And guess what? A week later, I was getting a call from the agent that said the financing just wasn't working out on the other deal and that they were going to eventually fall through and go back on the market. So I was on the phone with my buyers and saying to them, listen, I got some really great news. Not great news for the other buyers, but great news for you. And so that afternoon, we got an offer in before anyone else could. And by the next morning, after a couple of little tweaks of that original contract, we had to do a little counter offer, the house was theirs. And I'll tell you what, we got a great deal on it. The property checks all the boxes. And Mike and Susan are enjoying that nice new front porch that they have. Let me tell you. So after all the zoning nightmares, land issues, and hidden surprises, they finally got their dream home. And now they're living that low country lifestyle. And if you're wondering, okay, Ryan, well, where did Mike and Susan end up? Well, we found them this great little spot in Johns Island. And I'll tell you what, they couldn't be happier because they're going to be joining the Kiowa Island Country Club here in the next few months. And from what I understand, they're just going to be living that low country lifestyle, very laid back. He's very happy, he gets all his toys. She is extremely happy because she's going to be going to a country club and meeting a lot of new people. So guys, if you're looking to relocate here, I tell everybody this, you need to reach out to me. There's no one who knows this area better than I do. I can assist you with this process. It's not easy. A lot of people make mistakes, as you can see, and I don't want to see you make those same mistakes and cost you a ton of money. So you've got to reach out to me. Ryan McHugh, Buy From Rye, your neighborhood expert, 843-226-5535. If you want to see available properties now in any part of Charleston, you've got to check out my website, www.buyfromrye.com. I hope you guys enjoyed both of these stories today. Both were real stories that I had dealt with. I tweaked the names, but I wanted to bring it to you guys because a lot of realtors don't talk about this stuff. And honestly, I want to make sure you understand that there is a right way and a wrong way of doing things. People have preset mindsets, predispositions of, hey, realtors are going to cost me money. It's going to cost me so much more money out of pocket if I hire a realtor or a buyer's agent. And that's simply not true. So reach out to me. I can help you guys. If you want to see more great properties in the Charleston area, I want you to click this video right here. Oh, this one right here. Nope, this one right here. Click this video right here. I'll see you guys next time.